Hello, welcome to Revelator Alpha. Hope you're enjoying the channel and this series of videos. I'm just trying out a new format with the live streaming tonight, so bear with me a little bit. Hopefully the light levels are a little bit better as well. Now I'll be monitoring the chat as well. I've got a few issues with my internet connection again. I'm trying to do it from the man cave, as it were, but it's not working so great. Let me just go to the dashboard. Okay, that seems to be working again. So I've got the live chat already linked up onto the screen, so anybody who's watching can also see what I'm watching or what I'll be reading as well. And right, so here we go. Thanks for joining in. There's quite a bit to go through. So let me just get out of that first of all. Let me just get out of that. So I'm just changing my little playlist here, which I've done. Right, so this is a live stream basically for all Hardy Softails, but Sport Glide world really. Some new information or new points of discussion really, which you might want to think about. I just wanted to give a quick channel update as well. So thanks very much to all the subscribers that are coming in daily now. Thanks for all the great messages and comments and emails as well, who are really enjoying the videos and enjoying the sort of type of content that I'm producing. Yeah, so I'm in the man cave here, as it were. So I've changed it up a little bit. So basically behind me I've got like a day type setting. Over there is kind of like a dark background. You'll be seeing quite a few videos come out towards the end of the year and also into the new year with sort of a dark brown setting or dark black setting. And then that's just my tool workshop area, which I'll probably do a few workshop things that side as well. So there's quite a bit to go through. Let me just try to think, see if it's all coming up here. Right, so there are a few changes to the channel coming up in the future. I'm currently developing new playlists for the new year. I've already started producing videos for January with new playlists. One is going to be about Sport Glide specific information. And I suppose it could be related to other Softails as well, but it's basically called the Sport Glide, garage basically. It's gonna be a lot of how-to videos, a lot of information videos, that kind of thing. There's also motorcycle information. It's called Motorcycle Topics playlist, and that'll be sort of general motorcycle talk. And then I'll still have a reviews playlist and everything like that. So there are a few extra ones coming up as well. I won't go into that right now, but they will be developed for early next year as well. Okay, so on here, there's obviously the channel got monetized a month or so ago. So it's interesting that it's starting to trickle down now, a little bit of revenue from some of those early videos, which was quite interesting, but it's hardly anything. So basically what the whole idea is that any money that I get for the channel is all going to be reinvested in new equipment. So part Christmas presents and part investment as well. Hi Marin, hi Al, but you're stopping starting every few seconds. Thank you Mark. I had a feeling that might be the case. Let me see if I can just change things up a little bit here. Hold on one second. Yeah, it's my internet connection here. I may have to suspend this and go back into my other side and try it from there. Let me do that. Hang on, I'll be back in a few minutes. Right, hello there. I'm back, I believe. Somebody give me a thumbs up, anybody who can sort of see this or anything like that. There's a bit of a pain. Let's have a look. Hopefully somebody's getting that. Hopefully I'll just wait until somebody's there. Anyway, it should be streaming okay now. I've got a good stream there. And I've got a good stream there. Let me just get that. Yeah, that's better. Okay, great. Thanks, Mark. Right, so I've got a big problem with my internet connection in the man cave. Right. Okay, let's start this again, shall we? Hello, welcome to Revelate Alpha, the live stream. Yes, the Sport Glide World from around the world. So just going to give a few updates with the channel first of all, and then quickly get into some new updates on the Sport Glide and also the Softail range as well. Hi Sarge, good to see you here. Double thumbs up, thanks very much. Right, so the channel is growing day by day, really. Lots of new subs coming on, so that's really great. Thanks for that. Really great engagement, loads of comments, loads of emails coming through as well, lots of questions being asked, which is really good. And, you know, it's different opinions as well, which I really like. You know, not everybody is agreeing with me, which is fine, but there's also lots of people coming in with extra information as well, which I really like. And as I said before in previous live streams or videos, I think that's what my channel is really about, really, for me anyway. It's kind of sharing what I know, but inviting lots of other people to add information to it as well. Obviously, as I said, it got monetized as well a while back. So there is a little bit of money coming through, which is going to help me sort of get new equipment and start developing as well. What I was going to try and show you in the man cave was what I've sort of sectioned it off. So I've got an area with a black screen or a dark background. I've got an area for daytime videos, and then an area was just like a workshop videos as well. So you'll see that coming more and more towards the end of the year actually, and then into the new year. I've got videos obviously all the way to the end of the new year daily, and then there will be I'm already populating January for videos as well, and they are basically Sport Glide specific videos. And then there's going to be in a one playlist, it's called the Sport Glide Garage. There's going to be motorcycle general, Harley Davidson general information videos. That's going to be motorcycle topics playlist. Then I'm still going to go on with the reviews and the general information. I'm going to start bringing in more sort of motorcycle events. I'm going to try and get in with interviewing more people, speaking to other Harley riders as well, having sort of face-to-face discussions about their bikes and Softails and all that kind of stuff. So that's all coming next year. So there's a lot more coming, but hopefully it will develop. Now, one of the other things that I've started doing as well, if I just make sure this is all working, yeah. One of the other things that I've set up, or not set up, it's enabled, this has already done it, because as soon as you can monetize, it's something called super chats and stickers. And basically what you can do, if you give a super chat on the live chat, what you can do, you add like a tip type thing, and then that obviously that will generate money and support the channel. What I'm going to do with that money, and I'm going to get onto this in a little bit more now, is I was going to use the super chat money, any money that I get on the super chat for the next year, to obviously build up the channel. But I don't want to do that. Well, actually what I want to do, because I always like to try and help other people or help other charities or anything like that. So any super chat money that comes in, or any money from YouTube this is, or from the stickers or whatever it is, any money that comes in is going to go into a pot, and then at the end of 2020 that's going to be added to another fundraising page, which I'm going to get onto in a minute, which I'm fundraising money for 3 different charities. So it's mental health charity, Together for Mental Wellbeing. There's the National Association of Bikers with a Disability and the British Biker Relief Foundation. If you go to the website, on the sidebar, you'll see a link with a photo of the bike with a charity, three charities it is, and just link there and it will go to my Just Giving page where you can donate directly as well. So now, with the stuff that I'll be doing next year with the Sport Glide as well, I will be starting to do some sort of charity rides or maybe some other endurance feats as well. That will all link into that. So whilst there will be revenue gained, hopefully people will, you know, do the super chats and everything, all that money will go to the charity. Obviously I'd like to use it for developing the channel, but I think, you know what, I'd rather do that right now and let the channel just, you know, go the way it can go in the future. So anyway, so that's it basically. The channel is doing really well, or starting to do really well. New subs, lots of engagement, lots of good comments, so lots of different opinions and extra information, which is really good. There is a little bit of money coming down from the monetizing, which I'm going to start investing shortly. Hopefully, you know, the odd £20 here, £50 here, whatever. If I can just improve the content quality to you, then hopefully that'll work for you guys as well. You'll hopefully enjoy that. And then obviously anything else is going to go towards charity. So these three different charities which I'll be raising money for. So anytime I do a live stream, hopefully the plan is I'm going to try and do a weekly live stream for everybody, bring lots of information, and I'll also say, you know, if you want to give a super chat, great. And you should find it at the bottom of your chat page. You can offer a super chat type thing, and you can put in whatever money you want, I believe, and then that comes up. It highlights your comment, whatever comment you want to make. We read it out, and then that all money, as I say, will be put in a pot, and then I'll give you an update. Okay, so I'll get onto the Sport Glide bit in a minute. But the endurance ride I did around the Great Britain on the Sport Glide, I also did that for charity, the local air ambulance here, the Thames Valley in Chiltern. Oop, there we go, I'm North Central now. Thames Valley in Chiltern Air Ambulance. Let me just get back to the chat. There we go. And I raised over £550 with that, with another about £100 on gift aid, I think it was. So that's about £650 that's gone to them as well. So I'm really pleased with that. That's really good. And thanks for all the generosity of everybody who did donate on that. Not only from England as well, but all around the world as well, which is really nice. So thanks for that. Now, that, just for your information, all the details of the ride itself is obviously on the YouTube videos, but it's also on one of the pages on the website. But the whole story, if you like, is also contained within a book which I wrote, and that's available on the books and media page on the website, and it's direct from Amazon. But again, another article is being written by the Hulk magazine, online magazine. So in the December issue, you'll be able to read all about the ride, what I did, why I did it for, all that kind of stuff. So I've had a couple of interviews with those guys, and as I say, I've sent them loads of photos, and they're going to link to the video and everything like that. So hopefully that give a little bit more exposure to the Sport Glide, what it can do, how resilient it is, and dispel some myths as well, but also highlight the kind of the charity which I was raising money for as well. But hopefully this will be a knock-on effect, and more people will come to the channel, and more people will help to raise money for good causes as well, which I really like. And obviously, hopefully, people will just enjoy the content, because that's what the whole point is as well. So I say there's a lot going on at the moment. I'm also, would you believe? Let me just get back to the chat. I'm also featuring in a TV program at the moment for my day job on the air ambulance as a pilot. and that is being shown on Sunday nights 9 p.m. on More 4 channel here in the UK, if any of you are listening from abroad. The only reason I mention it, because I made a video a couple, 2-3 months ago, or a couple of months ago, where I did like a mini vlog of me being interviewed by the TV company. Anyway, so the Sport Glide, my bike, is actually going to be featured on that series. I've already appeared in 2 episodes, but I thought my bike episode, as it were, where it was going to be shown last week, but it isn't. It could be this coming Sunday or the weekend after. So, you know, and you'll see the bike, and you see me talking about bikes and biking and all that kind of stuff, kind of related to the job, but also, you know, it's all about me type thing. Anyway, and my bike, which is really good. Anyway, so that's going to be, yeah, appearing on TV is not really my thing. Obviously got a face for radio and all that kind of stuff, but it was good fun. It was good fun. Right, so yeah, hopefully it should, Sarge, hopefully it should be a good read in the Hog magazine. It was a guy called Julian Miles, if any of you know him. So I don't know him. It was good. You know, there was Hog actually were very receptive to the story straight away. Harley as a company, there wasn't really that much interest from them, I've got to say. But there we go. I mean, that's where we're at with them. Right, let me just come back to that. Let's get on to the good stuff, shall we? Which is about the Sport Glide. Right, so to say, the channel's going really well, slowly getting up there, and I'm also going to be doing possibly a couple of live streams or live interviews with a couple of other YouTubers or creators over the winter period as well. As I said, they're going to be a bit more of that sort of stuff, a bit more variation in the content, and also different points of view. We're all hopefully going to come together and do a little bit more as well, which would be good, I think. Right, so yeah, as I say, now with the live streams as well, there is a couple of things that I want to try and, oh, that's gone down, don't want to do that. Is that right? There we go. With the live streams as well, I do want to try and expand them a little bit, and ultimately I like them to be like a bit of a radio show. I am looking into doing live phone-ins or live Skype calls as well. I know it's relatively easy to use, but the problem is I've got a bit of an internet connection on the other side where I'd like to do all this. This is kind of at home, so I've banished everybody to the dungeon tonight so nobody can disturb me. But anyway, so it's I'm going to try and change the live streams in the future, but hopefully this will work for now. Anyway, and you might have seen at the bottom here, there is a bit of, you know, changes as well. So I've tried to get into the 21st century a little bit. Right. So the next thing is, can I say, Sport Glide updates. Right. Okay. So this is something I really want to talk about. I'm going to get on to a couple of other things later. Sport Glide update. Okay, so the accessories and upgrades. There is, I hear rumours about certain changes coming with the Sport Glide and more accessories being available directly from Harley with it. They're in a bit of a transition phase in terms of updating their stuff. But apparently there is more coming. If we go, I did a live stream 2-3 weeks ago where I gave you sort of lots of different websites of where you can get different accessories from. That's all updating, and each manufacturer seems to be expanding their range for what it is. So if you go into, I don't know, a lot of these places from the United States, but actually some of them are from in Europe as well. It's one of those things, I could go through them now, but it's a case of just searching for them. One of the things that came through, yes, okay, so Mark, I hinted that workers haven't done. I'll talk about that in a minute, thank you. So one of the things that came through a while ago was about changing the exhausts are there different exhaust options as opposed to having on the single side or a single exhaust, having a dual exhaust. I asked about that with a guy I know who works at Harley, and this is the main Harley, and he said no, to his knowledge there wasn't anything coming out like that. So to have a dual exhaust, like let's say on a Tourer, the only option is going to be, I'm probably not going to make a video about this, about getting into more detail, is to go for a custom exhaust. But there's going to be a clearance issue on the left-hand pannier, which is slightly lower than the right-hand pannier. The right-hand pannier is slightly shorter, slightly, ever so slightly, to allow for the exhaust and the heat. So there's options. You're going to have a custom exhaust, or you're going to have to ride without the panniers, or you're going to have to change the pannier type, because the hinge is at the bottom of the pannier to open it up, so you can't even cut away at the pannier a little bit. You're going to have to totally redesign that. So if there's something like that. Okay, so the work I had done on my bike wasn't really necessarily a modification, it was more a rectification. And the video I put out the other day, which was about the fairing rubbing on the yokes on the triple trees and causing scratches and wear and tear. What is actually happening, and Harley have not addressed this now, is that as you're riding along, as you know, lots of, especially if you're riding in wet kind of conditions, lots of road grime is flicked up. That is flicked up underneath the fairing, and then there's lots of grit getting trapped in there. And what's happening, you get minor vibrations, and then that is causing the rubbing or scratching. I actually had some quite serious scratches on mine on the side, but also on the top as well. A couple of people have commented, say, oh, well, that's a load of rubbish, what a load of rubbish that is. Of course it's going to, scratch, it's a fairing, whatever. Well, actually, I disagree on that, and respectfully, I disagree, because actually, it shouldn't be scratching at all. You shouldn't have a fairing, any device that's actually going to damage the rest of your bike. That just doesn't make sense. So what they've done under warranty, they've actually replaced the lower yoke triple tree, but the problem still exists. The problem still exists that if you're going to get grit under there, you've got the fairing sat on the lower triple tree, and if it's sat on the top triple tree as well, or yoke, I can't get used to calling it triple tree, by the way, then you're basically going to get this issue within time. So what you need to do is cover them up with tape. So if you saw my other video on this first subject, cover it with tape, insulation tape, or what I've done now, I put vinyl wrapping over it. So what's going to happen now, I'm just waiting for the local dealership to come back to me. They're going to put some 3M clear tape on there, which is going to act as a barrier. But it's not solving the problem. Harley are trying to deny it actually is happening. Other people's just, riders, sport riders, just don't seem to want to accept that it's an issue. I personally believe it is an issue, because you shouldn't have one component, as I say, damaging another component. It doesn't make any difference if it's minor or major. The fault is there. It's been overlooked. So that's what's the whole point of this, this channel and us, finding out about these things. So it is cleared under warranty to do it. Okay. So that was the other thing that I had done. Right. Now, so there are accessories coming out, more accessories coming out supposedly, and more upgrades coming out for suspension, which there's a video coming out about that. There are different companies producing different things, whether it's a performance base or whether it's an aesthetic base as well. Some of it obviously is going to be genuine parts, and some of it is going to be you try your luck basically, or you chance your luck, whether they're going to be working or not. I think it's one of those things with a Sport Glide, because there hasn't been a wealth of extra accessories for it. I think it's going to be, now we're into what, the second year, second and a half year, isn't it? You're going to start having to look at different options and seeing if other things fit on that bike and whether it can work. And I've already started looking at the other Softail range and say, well, it's particular for that Softail, but actually you might be able to modify it. So modification might be required for certain things that you may want to do with your bike. But obviously there's a lot of crossover on the Softail, so it's not really a major issue. But obviously there are certain things that, you know, won't work. Right, I wanted to, before I go into the next bit, which is about Sport Glide, I wanted to talk about sales figures of the Sport Glide in particular. So Harley have just released their third quarter sales figures, and no surprise, they've dropped, but not as much as people would think. United States, they're down by 6%. Europe is 6%. Asia is up over 1.5%. Latin America is down 5%. Canada is down 6.5%, and globally it's down by 4.88%. If I just quickly come onto this page here, and it's basically the Tourers are still leading the way with over 75,000 sales. Cruisers not too far behind now. I think they narrowed the gap at 59,000. And then Sportsters are still respectably 38,000 and change. So, you know, there's a global total of 173,485 bikes sold up to the third quarter, but they're down by 6%. Lots of people were, or lots of commentators or people within the investment world were looking at a 12-15% sales slump. But I think they've pulled that back. But you kind of expect that within the second and third quarter, which is the summertime, effectively best riding weather. That's where you're going to get the predominantly the sales. I mean, if you go into most Harley Davidson dealerships now, especially during the week, they're like a ghost town now, aren't they? Especially if you're riding in inclement weather. But during the weekends, they liven up a little bit, of course. So that was a bit of an issue. So they've, you know, the sales are slumped a little bit, whatever. Now, this is all over the world. I'm just trying to see here. Right, so basically, if we look at the United States, the first 9 months of this year, they've basically dropped from 112,000 to 105,776. Europe have dropped from 34,967 to 32,326. The reason why I'm bringing this up, because there's been a growing little rumble in certain quarters saying that the Sport Glide again may be discontinued at the end of 2020. There's also been other rumors from people saying though actually no, the sales are really up on the Sport Glide, especially in Europe. United States is still floundering a little bit, and it has started to slow down all over the place, all over the world, and it's based upon the Lowrider S coming onto the market, which is no kind of surprise there, I suppose. Because you would say, well, the Lowrider S is coming on. Lots of people are contacting me as well. They're saying, yeah, I'm going to put my money down on the Lowrider S. I really like it. Great bike. Great fun bike that's going to be. But obviously that's going to take away customers, potential customers, from the Sport Glide or any other Softail. Or any other bike in that matter. Obviously Harley, you know, were kind of criticised for a weak presentation of anything new for 2020. So the Lowrider S came out. They obviously had some improvements to the Tourer range with the RDRS and other things like that. But essentially, it was a bit of a weak showing. So they haven't really done a great deal for the 2020 range, and I think the Sport Glide has suffered there a little bit. Look, I went to Florida a couple of months ago. I spoke to a couple of dealerships and they were saying, no, the Sport Glide is great. Lots of other people are saying, yeah, the Sport Glide is selling well. But other people are saying, no, it's not selling well. It's, you know, globally, it's not really selling well. It's not their best performing Softail, and it's not, it's almost a bit of a hindrance to their Tourer sales, where they're going to have a better profit margin. It's hard to know what to make of it. Again, you know, I don't want to be the prophet of doom, but, you know, it's one of those things. Mark, you, let me just get rid of that there for a second. Mark, you had a stage 1 done today at Guildford, HMI 2018 Slim. Harley warranty still valid, which is why I had them do it. If anyone else is interested in having another heart attack, I did it. It was 2,044 pounds. Wow. Now, did you keep the parts yourself, the original parts? And also, what exhaust did you have? What air filter did you have? And what tuner did you have? I think you have the Vision tuner they use down there at Guildford. I could be wrong. There's something like that. That's a nice bike. I do like the Slim, I gotta say. But anyway, so there's lots of lots of rumours circulating about the Sport Glide. Lots of, and do you know what? After a few months ago, when I talked about this, I kind of thought, do you know what? That's all a load of rubbish. Let's just forget about it. But I'll tell you what made me start thinking about this. I went to the Motorcycle Live show. As you might have seen the video, the walk around the video, and the Sport Glide was just almost like a forgotten bike right on the outside of the display. Hardly anybody looking at it at all. And I just thought, you obviously don't rate it very high, because, you know, you just put it out there. It's just like it's not even worth your attention, really. I thought the whole Harley Davidson stand was pretty awful, I've got to say, especially compared to other previous years as well. And I just don't think they're doing very well. You know, I mean, I'm going to sort of go off on a tangent here. They seem to be just too corporate, too bland, it was very dark, it was covered. They had the Pan America and the Bronx on pedestals, back to back, if you like. But there wasn't really any information there. They were just sat there. They had other bikes all spread about, but there just wasn't enough going on. I just thought it was too big for the bikes that they had. They should have put a lot more bikes in there. They should have opened it up, made it a lot lighter. This whole set wasn't that great at all. Okay, yeah, Mark, yeah, sorry, Sarge. Yeah, that's expensive. My stage 1 cost me £800 at Preston HD. My stage 3 and the Fat Bob cost £2,500. I suppose it depends what parts you've had put on your bike. That's the key thing, doesn't it? You know, you can have cheaper parts, or you could have more expensive parts. Again, that really depends. I mean, let's say if you go for a Jekyll and Hyde exhaust, for example, well, that's going to cost you, just the exhaust alone is going to cost you £2,500, £3,000, isn't it? So, you know, I suppose it really depends. It really depends. But as I say, you know, so this Sport Glide issue is rumbling on. There have been other people who have commented on it as well, I've noticed. But this is the big rumour that I am hearing right now. This could be completely wrong, completely off the wall. So you heard it here first, right? The one thing that I was really disappointed when they launched the 2020 models a month or so back, that there wasn't a 114 engine upgrade for the, or option, not upgrade, option for the Sport Glide. I've heard a rumour that actually there is one planned. They haven't got a release date yet for it, but they are seriously thinking about giving customers a 114 option. There you go. You heard it here first, probably. I only found out about this yesterday, would you believe? And I was a little bit taken aback. I thought, oh, really? But I don't, you know, it doesn't surprise me because actually that's what a lot of people have been hoping for anyway. And other Softails have got the 114, so why not the Sport Glide? Why not give that the 114? Yeah, so there we go. That could be something going on. But again, you get one hand, it's saying there's going to be more accessories, there's going to be more evolution of the bike with a 114 engine. And on the other hand, they're saying no, sales figures are down. It's kind of really impacting on the Tourer sales figures. They don't want that conflict there. They just, you know, want to get rid of it and just go with the low rider S and the other Softails as well. So it's, you know, it's hard to know which is the issue here. Still ongoing issues with the Softails in general, but a lot of this is coming down from, with the engines that is, most of the engines are absolutely fine. There's no problems with them at all. Yes, there were the early issues with the M8 engines, and I've got a few videos coming up about this as well. But a lot of it comes down to upstaged engines. When they're going into stage 1, 2, 3 and 4, predominantly 2 plus, and certainly 3 and 4. Those are what the big issues are coming on. Depends how that's married up with earlier engines. There was a comment made a few weeks ago on one of my videos where somebody in the United States, they sold a Heritage, I think it was, or a Fat Boy, I can't remember. They sold it to a friend of theirs, and they'd had a stage 3, stage 4 on it, and within a couple of weeks, his mate had blown the engine on it. And you know, so it was hard to gauge what was the issue. Was it because it was just a Milwaukee 8 engine? Was it because it was an upstaged engine, or was it because they're riding it like a loon? Who knows? Who knows what it was? But the interesting comment was from the chap saying that bagger engines are blowing a lot sooner than, or they're not as reliable as the Softail engines. So I've kind of done a bit of research into it, and actually, effectively, there are slight differences with the engines. In terms of tuning, there's a bit of slight differences in terms of you know, casing sort of sizes and depths of the sump, in case of counterbalancing and stuff like that, and also the way they're mounted in the frames. But the actual engines themselves are exactly the same, pretty much. But I think I've got a feeling this is all to do with the upstaging. They're not being done right, or they're just being too much, and you're pushing the bike beyond its working envelope, personally. Right, so that's that. Basically, I'm going to be doing a lot more videos over the winter. I'm going to be talking about Sport Glide, sort of maintenance issues, inspections that you can do over the winter. You don't have to be a mechanic to do it, you just do it yourself. And then sort of guide you along in certain things like that. There's, as I say, I had a walk around the Motorcycle Live show here in the UK. I did a big video. I did a series of videos actually, and for the most part, lots of people like that. There were a few interesting comments. People didn't like it, which is fine. You know, you can't please everybody, of course. But one of the issues was whether you know, whether I should have had the camera facing me and me talking to the camera, or whether I should have just had the camera pointing at the bikes, whatever. So I tried to make a couple of other videos before this comment came out, actually. One was about the Harley stand, one was about the Indian stand, one was just showing all the bikes that I saw as well, or most of the bikes as well. I think the whole point of why I did that video like that, the review, because it is a commentary of the place. It isn't just, you know, showing you different bikes, whatever. It's a commentary of giving you a flavour of what the show is. Hence why, you know, the pictures on me a lot, but showing different bikes as well. So, but I am hoping to go to the London bike show early next year as well. So I don't know, I might change it up a little bit, but let me know what you think about those videos as well. You know, if you like that sort of style, if you want to see more of motorcycle events, that kind of thing, that would be good. Good, right. Good to see you guys getting in the chat there. Excellent. Right, there's a couple of other things coming out on the Sport Glide videos. As I say, there are going to be more information videos coming up towards the end of the year. A few more discussion topic videos. I think those go down quite well. And as I say, next year I'm going to expand it out a little bit. As I say, there's going to be continued technical videos, I suppose, workshop type videos or information type videos about the Sport Glide in particular. There's going to be motorcycle general type discussion videos. There's going to be a lot more moto vlogs as well, a lot more using the bike to go out and about and do different places and see different things and motorcycle events and all that kind of stuff. Sort of, I don't know, event vlogging, I suppose, motorcycle event vlogging. But, you know, there's going to be quite a few. And also, you know, there's, as I say, there's going to be a few more interviews and a couple of sort of fun shows coming up as well, hopefully, with that. But that's it, really. I mean, that's the couple of things that I just wanted to talk to you about the Sport Glide. As I say, you know, the biggest news that I've heard, it is a rumour, by the way, I just got to say, it is only a rumour that I've heard, that the Sport Glide is going to come out with a 114 engine at some point in 2020. As for the company themselves, with the dwindling sales figures, you know, about 6% down, just for information, I mean, their share price is down this morning about just over $37, which is quite a low figure for them. And lots of people are wondering, can they actually recover from this? They were hoping that the Livewire was going to boost interest in Harley Davidsons. The problems of what I saw at the Motorcycle Live show, there wasn't a lot of interest. There wasn't people queuing up to look at the Livewire. Now, I've got to say, because it was a Monday, I thought it was going to be quiet anyway. But actually, I thought it was pretty rammed at Motorcycle Live. Around the BMW stand, for example, there were lots of people milling about. And also, obviously, BMW, they put on a little display of what their bikes can do every sort of hour, every 40 minutes or whatever. So that gathers a lot of people around. And a really good show it is, you know, really talented you know, riders, test riders are doing their stuff there. But Harley didn't have anything like that. It was, again, it was a real poor show. But they had the live wires, the 2 live wires at the front where people could sign up, give their details, and go and give a little test ride, as it were, on like a rolling road. But it just wasn't. There wasn't enough hoo-ha. There wasn't enough pomp and ceremony. And I'll give this comparison. About 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whenever it was, I think it was the London Motorcycle Show. I could be wrong, but I think it was there. I went along, and they just launched a couple of months before the Kawasaki H2, right? And that sports bike, you know, and it was like, it was on just a small pedestal, but it was like, and it was rotating as well. But it was like it was a, you know, some, you know, top celebrity or, you know, some outstanding beauty or something from the silver screen, right? And it was surrounded by paparazzi. Everybody was taking pictures. Everybody was talking about it. Everybody's going, wow, look at that. That's amazing. There was none of that for the Livewire. None of that. There was just a few people just looking at it going, yeah, it's all right. Yeah, it's all right. People generally interested in it, I suppose. People wanted to look at it. And when people actually went on it, they thought, oh, yeah, that's really good. But it wasn't creating the fervour, you know. Ref the Harley stand at the bike show. If they were to have a top-notch display then this year, Indian have produced some great-looking bikes, and also should have done something special. Yeah, I believe. I just think they were poor. I think it was just a poor stand. Lots of other people have remarked, sent me emails as well and comments saying, yeah, they thought it was really poor. Indian, on the other hand, produced a really good stand, I thought. There are no issues at all. And they produced bikes. The only one comment I would say about the Indian stand, I think is on the FTR 1200. I think they got a rally version. I think it's a rally version. They had it on a really high pedestal, and it was almost like you were looking up at it like that. I think it just needed to be down a little bit. You know, also a lot of these bikes were kind of static. They give it a bit of motion, put them on a turntable or something, so you can get a 360 degree of that. You know, if you're going to have it up on a pedestal, have some kind of rotation on it as well. I sometimes think that I should get in touch with these companies and say, look, let me come and design your stand for you, because some of them are really poor. I think a lot of the manufacturers, the big manufacturers, this year, as I said in the video, were making a big play of showing their heritage. You know, how many bikes they've had in the past and racing heritage and all that kind of stuff. Indian did a massive display of that. It was a really cool display of all their old bikes from the early years as well. They had some real beauts there as well. But again, Harley just failed. I thought. If we're talking about Harley as a company and Harley Davidson as a company, they need to try. They need to try and let me just check that. Yeah, they need to try and rescue their company, as it were. They're looking at the live wire, which kind of fall flat on its face, really. Yeah, I'm sure you're always going to get interest. I'm sure you're going to get people who are going to spend all that money on it, but it's not going to be a big sales bike. It's not going to be something that's going to save the company financially. So then the other two bikes that they've got to look at is the Pan America and the Bronx. They're not providing enough information. If you go on these big live shows, these big motorcycle shows, you want something that's pomp and ceremony and, I don't know, fireworks and all this kind of stuff. You want dancing girls around it, all that kind of stuff. It's got, it was just a poor show. It was very flat. It's almost like they couldn't be bothered. I don't think even the people who were working there really believed it was a great display. I don't know. Now, the reason why I'm going on about it, because actually they really annoyed me. They really annoyed me. If you saw the video, because I was walking around and I was going, where the hell is the Sport Glide? Why isn't the Sport Glide here? I was walking around, I had the Fat Bob and the Street Bob side by side next to each other. The Sport Glide was right outside, right on a corner bit, plinth, and it would just look lonesome. It was just looked isolated, forlorn bike. It was rubbish, and I just thought, this is absolutely crap. You've really, I think they've almost, thought, well, we're not even going to be bothered with the Sport Glide anymore. Even the low rider S was on the side. It wasn't that impressive. The Street Bob and the Fat Bob, the XDRS, and I think it was the Deluxe. I can't remember. Or it could have been the Fat Boy. They were sort of front and center. I've got a feeling those are the biggest selling bikes. All the rest are just not big selling bikes, and I think that's what did it. If I was selling or trying to push my bikes, I would push as many as possible and highlight them and give them equal, position. They didn't have hardly any tourers either. It was a poor show from Harley. Whereas Indian, yes, a lot smaller in terms of their market share and everything. They produced a much better show. But anyway, let's see if they can improve it for the London Motorcycle Show. Let me know as well if you go to the motorcycle shows, you know, what you think of the Harley Davidson stand, whatever. So I thought it was just too corporate this time. I thought it was just too not very interesting at all. But as I say, you know, the Sport Glide just seemed to be a bit forgotten there as well. And I think if Harley are looking to recover, and we know there's lots of problems within the hierarchy, within the management structure as well, I think they're going to have to start pushing these bikes a little bit more. And also looking at the technology as well. If you saw the video which I did today about the RDRS, they're going to have to start upping their game when it comes to not only the Softail technology, but also the technology on the Taurus. And I think they need to redesign the chassis on the Taurus as well. They need to go to a monoshock. A lot of people were hoping that would go to a monoshock on the Taurus. It just didn't. If you're comparing Harley Davidson with a you know, with other manufacturers to produce similar kind of bikes, like Indian, for example, then technology-wise, they're behind the curve. If you compare them to other manufacturers, then they're way behind the curve in terms of anything. So even like for like sort of touring bikes, if you go to somewhere like BMW or Honda, as I said in the review program as well, you know, their technology is way above what Harley are producing. Yes, okay, style and everything might be a factor, but you know, it isn't that great. Yeah, Mark, exactly right. Strange when the Sport Glide won the Battle of the Kings, but the Sport Glide didn't win the Battle of the Kings, and it wasn't Harley Davidson who put that. It was Matt Laidlaw's motorcycle dealership from Southern California, whatever. They converted a Sport Glide, heavily converted it, to what they reference as a Coast Glide for their kind of local, you know, preferences, their demographics down there, and you know, and it was a cool bike. Then done a blue one and an orange one, which is, you know, pretty cool. You know, not my style, but it's cool. Looked cool. You know, I would have preferred it all black actually. There's been a couple of others that I've seen, and also a couple of comments that people have told me about these other ones. There was one from Canada, I believe. I forgot who produced it. It was called Moonshine, I think. That was all black, predominantly black. Similar kind of looking, but that looked really cool. But you know, so I made a video. So actually, would Matt Laidlaw's Coast Glide, actually, because it won Battle of the Kings, would that be the impetus to start selling more Sport Glides? Or would it influence Harley Davidson to actually make a variation of the Sport Glide as a Coast Glide type thing? I'm not so sure that will do anything for the Sport Glide at all. Some part of me thinks it might. Another part of me would think, well, people would think, well, the reason why we like this Coast Glide, because it's not the Sport Glide, and that's the reason why we're going to go for something like that. But let's not forget that the money that they spent on the Coast Glide, you know, you're talking like doubling the price pretty much of what you know. There was major modifications to that bike. So, you know, if you really want a Coast Glide, let's say, you know, you're really going to have to spend another $10,000, $15,000, $20,000. I mean, actually, I don't know how much the bill costs, but you know, it's a big price. Anyway, right. Well, look, that was it. Hope you enjoyed that. There we go. Sorry. Hope you enjoyed that bit of information. Me ranting on a little bit. Hope you like this sort of layout a little bit, and hopefully I'll get this all sorted out for the future as well, and get a better internet connection on the other side. But say, unless there are any other questions, I'll just quickly sign off. Thanks for joining. Thanks for listening. As I say, and as soon as I get more information about the Sport Glide, you know, I'll try and come out on another live stream as well. But I was going to do a video about this, but I thought, you know what, I'm just going to do it in the other live stream as well, and let you all know. So, but there potentially is a 114 engine coming out for the Sport Glide. It's just a rumor. It could be complete nonsense. Who knows with these things? But anyway, nice chat again. Have a good night, guys. Yeah, nice to see you. Nice to speak to you, Sarge. Nice to speak to Mark, and speak to you all again whenever that is. Check out the website, revelatoralf.com. Please like, share, subscribe. Tell all your friends. Tell all your friends to come start watching the videos, subscribe, and all that kind of good stuff. I say there are daily videos coming out until the end of the year, and then I'll try and continue that for into the new year as well. But what I want to try and do is produce, hopefully, improving quality as well, but still regular, so at least a minimum of 3 videos a week, but we'll see how it goes. Right, anyway, hope you guys have a good night, and I'll catch you again whenever that is. Ta-ra then.